So I might have told you, I live by myself. I turned 70. That was the goal. 70 years old was the goal. And my health care did away with my doctor. They wanted me to choose another guy. I'm in between a lot of flux. I'm trying to clean up the house, get myself organized, got all the paperwork done, pictures, things thrown out. And I've been eating less food, adding more exercise back in. So last night, uh, against my better judgment, I had hot dogs like the third night in a row. And as I'm cooking them or reheating them or heating them, I'm thinking to myself, maybe 3 nights in a row of hot dogs is not a good idea. But I wanted to get something done, and it only takes a few minutes to heat them. I ate them. Everything was fine. So I get ready for bed, and I notice I'm like sort of burping. And I'm sitting in the chair. All of a sudden, these chest pains start. I mean, really bad chest pains. And I'm like trying to burp. I burp. It sort of goes away. If I sit up in the chair, the pain goes away. And then if I lay down in bed, it comes back. And I'm saying to myself, you know what? This could be something really serious. It could be the heart. Because my heart is, I have a heart murmur. I have palpitations. I have all kinds of crazy stuff. So anyway, I call the ambulance because I have a plan, so like $85 a year. They'll come take me to the hospital. So they come late because they're getting so many calls, and they're from another town, and I'm asking them about will I be covered with. They didn't know if they just were saying we're filling in for the other person that you pay the money for. So anyway, they take me to the hospital and they put the EKG on, and the woman starts on me right away. You're not having a heart attack. You must be having problems in your life. I said, well, I've been getting myself organized. I said, a lot of people are dying around me. I lost a lot of cousins, neighbors. It's been nonstop. I said, almost every week somebody I know dies. And I said, yeah, it could be that. I've been a little more aggravated lately because I'm pushing myself to get a lot of things done. So she said, you got to join a group and do this and do that. And I'm like, look, I know about panic attacks. I've had them. I think my way through it. I said, this is different. I got an actual pain. So they wheel me in there, and the girls ask me all these questions. You got to go through the whole, I won't go through all that, but in other words, they EKG'd me again. And I told them I have heart palpitations. I said, you're going to see a show and a half up there on that scope. So anyway, yeah, it's doing it, and in comes the doctor, and he goes, you didn't have a heart attack. He goes, what'd you have for supper? I said, hot dogs, 2 hot dogs. He goes, did you put ketchup on them? I go, no. He goes, well, this is a real common thing. He says, it's got 4 letters. It's acid reflux. And what happens is, I guess the stomach swells, puts pressure on stuff, nerves get damaged, and your muscles around your heart and shit start spasming. And that's what I said. I said, but I had to come here because I'm not a doctor. All I know is I felt like I was having a heart attack, what people would describe as a heart attack. And he said, yeah, and he leaves. And then he comes in at the end. Oh, and I before he left, I said, I checked I have a hernia that's on my belly here. And he goes, when you sit down, it goes away. Yeah, when you stand up, yeah, that's a hernia, no big deal. I have edema, my feet swell. Yeah, that doesn't really matter. That's normal for your age, blah, blah, blah. Hey, we're going through all this. I said, all right, now, I want to know if I'm diabetic and if my blood pressure's okay. So he agreed on this. I pushed him on this. So he leaves. And they did an x-ray. They did all kinds of stuff, blood work, the whole thing. So he comes in, and he's just going to say to me, you didn't have a heart attack, and I prescribed some medicine for you, and that's it. There's not going to be any more, So I said, I just asked him a simple question. Where did all this pain come from? Right? Well, his phone rings just at that moment. He holds his finger up. Wait a moment. He moves out like it's private. He never came back. Okay? So I went reading, and yes, acid reflux a certain way can cause the symptoms of a heart attack, and they warn you, don't try to figure it out yourself. Go to the hospital, and that's what I did. But that was yesterday, okay? But I've been trying to improve my health, get all my act together, and I had clean clothes on for the hospital. It was pretty. I had clean underwear on. It was pretty funny because a week ago, or 3 weeks ago, I looked like I was homeless, and I was telling the girls, I said, if you would have saw me 3 weeks ago, you know. But yeah, the edema, edema. I think they call it. I call it edema. Well, anyway, they're like, yeah, that happens to people your age, and she says, as long as both legs don't swell. I said, both legs do swell. Well, that could be an underlying heart problem. And I'm like, well, that's why I'm here. But of course, the doctor come in, no, 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 no to this, no to that. Everything you got is just typical normal crap, But I did get the word on the hernia, and it wasn't like they care, okay? They basically, an emergency room takes care of something that's got to be done like right away. And the rest is, up to you. But I did find out my sugar level's good, and my blood pressure's good. Because that guy I walked with that died, he had real high blood pressure. He was diabetic, and he was buying cookies all the time. He was sneaking out. He had some woman living with him, and she kept complaining to me that he was sneaking out the guy. The cookies and the high blood pressure didn't get him, and being diabetic, he died from lung cancer from Vietnam. Vietnam got him how many years later? The best we can figure from Agent Orange, or something else he did that he didn't talk about because he did lie. After he was dead, I talked to his brothers. I found out he's a pretty good liar. He wanted to know everything you did, and he keep questioning you and asking you the same question several different ways, trying to get you to screw up so he wanted to know what you were up to, but he would never tell you what he was up to. So pretty interesting stuff. But that's how I spent last night. Now I have this medicine I have to take 4 times a day, and a pill once a day for 10 days. And but my buddy's calling me. Oh, so I call my buddy up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I had that happen to me, the exact same thing. Why didn't you tell me this stuff?" Well, and he's telling me about getting these different pills and keeping them in the house. I said, "Look," I said, "I've had acid reflux before, and it's when I go off my diet and I get a little loose and fancy. But I was accomplishing so much around the house, getting caught up, throwing stuff out, and then I got into that remote antenna rotor, which kind of was a disappointment and an aggravation. And I was developing more stomach acid. The election on TV, they constantly hit you with that. They hit you with the retirement fund stuff and all that. I was becoming like, right now I'm burping a lot. I have excess stomach acid. I've been getting aggravated with basically life itself. But it all comes down to diet. And once you start getting your lining of your esophagus or your stomach, that takes a while to heal. I've gone through this before. What I used to do years ago when I was working different projects, man, I would get up in the middle of the night and I'd have like my esophagus would be red hot. It would hurt. And I'd get up and just take a swig of milk. But that was when I was young and crazy. Then when you get older, the pain, it was different than before. Before you wake up, you feel like everything's burning, you got heartburn, and I would take a swig of milk, and it would fix it. And I go back to sleep. This time I'm sitting there in the chair, and it sort of stopped. And then I laid in bed, and it starts building and building and building. That's because as you lay down, the stomach acid from the stomach is now hitting the esophagus. I guess the stomach swells and puts pressure on, whatever. But you can read up on it. But it was pretty funny. I called my buddy to tell him. He goes, "Oh, I had that happen to me." Yeah. That's why I like friends that exchange information with you. So I would still have gone in the ambulance, but it would have been nice to know that it would be acid reflux versus I'm having a panic attack I can't control. But that woman, you better get help. There's groups you can join. I said, look, I really don't feel that aggravated. I said, lately I've been more angry and under pressure because I've been pushing myself more. But I don't think, it wasn't a panic attack pain. Oh, and panic attacks, by the way, you get shooting pains across the chest also. But this was totally different. So I took the ride in the ambulance again. We'll get that bill, and I'll have a fight with them because I pay them $85 a year. If I need to go to the hospital, they'll drive me. And I have a senior discount thing. And once before, they tried to get me to pay the $1,000. And I said, well, what exactly do I pay you $85 a year for? And the girl says, are you going to yell at me? I said, no, I just want to know what I paid $85. She says, well, we bill the insurance company first, and then we pay some of it, or the insurance company pays some of it, and then we pay the rest. And I said, well, what do you do? Well, your insurance company hasn't paid us yet. And then I went looking, and I found that they had been paid. So I don't know if there was a lag between them filling their billings up. I understand all this stuff, you know. But last night, you know, I'm by myself, and I never had that kind of pain before. And I have to go to bed, and I'm sitting up in the bed, and it's starting. It's like, and it's did it, you know. Then it seems to go away, and I'm like, you're playing. I'm saying to myself, you're playing. You're 70 years old. You don't know if you're diabetic. You don't know if you have high blood pressure, because every time you go to the hospital, they just say to me, "You're fine. Go home." After the prostate, I said, "Well, what blood type am I?" "Oh, well, we don't have that available right here." Well, how is my blood pressure? "Oh, it's okay." Am I diabetic? "Yeah, you're fine. You're fine." You know, it's like this time I want to absolutely know. So now I might not go to the doctor for 5 years. Okay, you know, it's a little sooner because usually I don't go, but every 10 years. And then the nurses are like, "Well, what kind of medication are you on?" I said, "I don't take any medication." "How could you not be on any medication?" I'm like, oh God, have you never seen a person that isn't on medication? It was pretty funny stuff. And they're asking you, do you have any thoughts of killing yourself? Or did you ever have any thoughts of killing someone else? Yeah, they have all these new questions now. You know, I guess they figure you think you're going to die, you're going to take a bunch of people with you. It was weird. But I think that's it. All right, that's it.